Well, hello everybody and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we read two books for you, a Marvel book and a DC book. Today we're going to kick things off with Lobo number 12 from DC Comics. If you are a Marvelite and you don't want to watch this video, simply go to the timestamp below me right now and you'll skip right over to Deadpool. Right now we're going to talk about Lobo number 12, written by Frank Barbiere and Cullen Bunn with art by Robinson Rocha, or Rocha, I don't know. But we checked in with Lobo in issue number 1 on Off the Rack, and I thought we'd check back in, see how Lobo's doing, because, as I recall, we were not huge fans. This is 12 issues later, so it's pretty much a year checking in on Lobo.
That one.
Probably not.
Lucky you!
So, what do you guys think of Lobo, number 12?
I'm interested to hear what you guys thought about it having...
Then kick things off. What do you think?
Having the background that we did of Lobo number 1, where I was really confused and I wasn't sure... I liked some of the stuff that he was doing. I still kind of like the stuff that he's doing, but this character has not grown on me whatsoever. He's very despondent. He is not a Lobo that I really can empathize with. But they're going in an interesting direction with this by making him, like, really angry and sort of, like, freak out after his exposure.
Mm-hmm. Funny you say that, because isn't the series supposed to be canceled in December?
I believe it is. Yeah, the show's over. For Lobo. It's funny that, I had a very similar experience where I jumped in and I was like, here we go, Bo. And I was like, this is actually not so bad. Like, I kind of enjoyed it. And I honestly, I have a theory, or I started to have a theory, but I doubt they'll do it because of what they did in the first issue. But, okay, Lobo gets exposed to, like, some drugs.
Yep.
Space drugs.
Which, like, are, insane.
Right, which make him, like, nuts. The second he walks through them, you're like, oh, well, I guess that'll be the end of Lobo, or at least it's going to kick things down the road as to what is going to happen with him. Yeah. And indeed it does.
Well, if regular people are being exposed to this, and they're mutating immediately...
And they're like, kill me!
You have to destroy me!
Yeah. What's it going to do to Lobo?
Yeah.
I think it's going to turn him into 80s Lobo.
Oh my
Did
god!
They already have another Lobo that was similar.
But they did. Well, they had real Lobo from the 80s, and he kills that Lobo. Twilight Lobo murders Death Metal Lobo.
I was going to call him the Crow Lobo, or 9 Inch Nails Lobo.
I like this Lobo.
Well, and that's the thing, like, Lobo is an exaggerated version or a response to, like, the culture. And in the 80s, when Lobo was created, he is a roadie for Metallica.
Exactly.
And in the 2000 noughties, or whatever, he was, like, what a sex symbol manly man is. He's got a six-pack, and he's also tortured.
He's got, like, an 8 or a 12-pack. It's
That's
insane.
True. He is really jacked.
That is not what I got out of this Lobo. I thought this Lobo was kind of like Snake Plissken.
Really? Yeah, he played it up much more Snake than the earlier one.
And it's the only book I've read of Lobo. I had fun with it, like, a lot. And it really did, to me, feel like an escape from something kind of movie.
Yes, and then he attacks his...
superior...
But, like, barely. He holds her up, and then he puts her down, and he's clearly affected by drugs, and she's like, bring the hammer down on Lobo. And it's like, he could have killed her, or attacked her harder, or maybe there's a sinister undercurrent here where she wants to get rid of him anyway, but it's not very clear, and the book's over, so it's whatever.
I can see that kind of reaction only because in the chain of command, like,
right.
If she's the boss, she does not tolerate any kind of disrespect.
That's fair, yeah. Like she's got to put the hammer down, she's got to prove, like, you can't even, like, speak to me incorrectly.
Exactly.
I will.
But that's her whip. Like, he's supposed to be the baddest of her bad.
Right, so if you throw everybody else at him, it's like, okay.
Nothing's going to happen. No. You're just going to piss him off.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
And then you're going to be down a lot less.
I mean, maybe...
It's true.
we haven't read the rest of them. Maybe it's just a title.
Yes, that you are the Lobo.
And he just had... Yeah, well, that really threw me off, was that he kept calling himself a Lobo.
Yes.
Instead of the Lobo?
No.
Or just being Lobo.
Right.
I mean, like, I know he, like, killed his planet, apparently.
Yeah. It's weird. Anyway.
Weird? No, but the whole, like, her thing, like, I didn't question it because of the previous conversation she had about the guy who was like, he wanted money back for...
Right, for the ruined drugs.
And she had to, like, she's like, and, like, like, screw him. Because that's not, like...
Because who cares?
Yeah, we don't renegotiate.
That's not happening.
No.
Like, even if he's totally in the right, because you freaked the hell out.
Yeah.
And destroyed his product,
Yeah, that wasn't your job.
No, like, what, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's true.
Yeah,
she's a hard ass. She's like, listen, I'm all business.
What I say goes.
That's true.
Yeah, I look like a night elf.
what'd you guys think of the art for the book? Because I thought it was kind of rad.
I loved it.
It was pretty cool.
It worked so perfectly with this story.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, is this the greatest art I've ever seen? No. Is this the art that befits this Lobo in the story? Yeah. And the fact is, though, if you really are into panel composition and into looking into the panels, artist does a fantastic job of cityscapes.
Yes.
And there's actually a moment where Lobo's in his ship and he's got like the little glowy screens, and just beyond him there's a shot of the city in the background. It's blurred. I don't know, it just added a lot of depth for me.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty rad, and I love his aliens. I think they look really cool. They're very distinct.
You mean Chicken Skin Man?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Well, I mean, like, he's gross, but he's supposed to look gross. Like,
Exactly.
he's supposed to be, ugh. But, like, he depicts aliens in an interesting and consistent way. So
And when he was morphing Lobo into like sort of the angry, drug-addled Lobo, especially when he freaks out outside of his ship, that worked really well.
I know, and that's why I was like, maybe he's turning into like cool Lobo.
He almost looked like he was turning into Doomsday, and I know it's not him, but like that, like for
I wouldn't put it past
What's
him.
the DC universe?
Yeah, he could be. That could be a.
That's not what it is.
If they like synthesize Doomsday's DNA, and that's like
They made that a drug?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you get to be Doomsday for a little while. Just
And he said he was going after the people that, were off limits.
That's right, which includes Hal Jordan. So, at the end of the book, maybe you'll see Lobo versus Green Lantern, which who cares?
By the way, an evil-looking Hal Jordan.
Yeah, well, it's spacefaring. Hal. It was like before when he left Earth, and
Okay.
the pairing, it felt seamless. It didn't feel like two different people wrote it.
No, I actually just saw, I'll be honest, I just saw Cullen Bunn. I was like, and he wrote it. And when he took both names, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was fine. I don't want to really dwell on it because it's like we'd really talked about everything he did or they did. It's like, all right,
it's good.
Yeah.
What sucks is that I'm more engaged now because I want to see him take on all these superpowered people, and it's gonna get canceled.
Maybe they should do like a one shot or a very very brief mini series where they have like Lobo versus the DCU. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. They should do a crossover with him and Snake Plissken.
So now let's go to the all new, all different, all exactly the same as you remember it, Marvel Universe for Deadpool #1, which was written by Jerry Dugan with art by Mike Hawthorne. This sets up the status quo for Deadpool being the #1 hero in the Marvel Universe. He's super cool. He's got his own company. Oh, wait, that's Spider-Man. Oh, nope. Everybody has their own company now. And everybody's super cool, and everybody's the best superhero ever. I also noticed that on the cover of this issue, it says the world's greatest comic magazine, which is what the Fantastic Four used to have on the top of their covers. Cute. Which is cute, but also sad, because, Marvel won't publish any more Fantastic Four books, so it's like, oh.
Well, that's gone.
But also, the X-Men are being kind of pushed off planet Earth entirely, and we'll do that eventually with Extraordinary X-Men, but doesn't affect Deadpool because Deadpool prints money. So, what'd you guys think of Deadpool #1?
Deadpool might print money, but Deadpool did not sell me on this issue. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do here. And the story felt like Deadpool because all the characters were being hired out to do work that Deadpool's supposed to do so that Deadpool can make a lot of money and be the most important person in America, but he's still a merc with a heart now?
Yes. Yeah,
Alright, but I don't know, it felt flat for me. I was not a huge fan.
I liked it a little bit. I don't know.
Right.
Here's what's funny. I read this second.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was going to enjoy it more. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed Lobo. So then this, I don't know. It confused me because my feelings confused me. No, I mean, look. Deadpool is the merc with the mouth, and I do like him as that, but we gotta give him room to grow. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not permanent.
But what if we filled it with Deadpools? Like, what if we had, 1,000 characters in this book? Would that be enough room for him to grow? Would that be enough room for him to develop?
I had no problem with the other Deadpools, and I thought they were really funny because they're almost like little aspects of his personality. And I thought that was kind of an interesting commentary on Deadpool.
Yeah, that he has many different incarnations.
And now he's just kind of surrounding himself with them.
Right, and also, when you have all those niches filled, what will Deadpool become then?
Right. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That's an interesting idea I hadn't thought about. I didn't like this book at all, but I don't like Deadpool, so that worked out. But I have liked Deadpool in the past. There's been books that I'm like, whoa!
Yeah.
And they're really cool, and the Deadpool character's really great. This new status quo is so tried. I feel like I've seen it before, even though it's new for Deadpool, but it's not new to me. doing the business thing, making him like a big deal,
But, like, that's...
setting him up for the
Hang
fall.
on, but that's kind of interesting in a sense, because Deadpool not only is a fourth wall breaker, but he's also often a parody in a sense.
Right, he
and
is
can parody.
He's a trope.
It's interesting that he's doing this because it has been done.
Right.
But he hasn't done it, so they haven't used Deadpool to examine the trope. But I think that's
true.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that's going to get Deadpool fans on board, for me, I'm kind of more or less like, where is this going to go?
Yes.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm not like, this was awesome. I'm kind of more like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, where are we going?
Was there any point where he actually broke the fourth wall in this book? Because
Not
I'm
in this
thinking
issue.
back, and he didn't.
No, and
No.
I think that they're trying to like soften it a little bit. I think they're trying to like
Tone it back?
Yeah, like so we can actually look at Deadpool as a person instead of Deadpool as a character that we're like hanging out with.
Okay.
Which is cool. Like you said, I like the idea of using him as an exploration of the character and kind of delving into it. That said, like it was just not spending $4 to read more Deadpool.
Well, it seems like it's going to be a redemption book.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's going to be a status quo, like, going back to that. Like, I think it's going to take this opportunity for the all-new, all-different to try something a little all-new, all-different. And even though Marvel isn't putting out the Deadpool movie, I bet they're still going to try and play ball with that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to want to make Deadpool money. So Deadpool
Yeah.
is going to need to be back where Deadpool should be by that point. I'm guessing. That's my guess. That's always my guess.
I mean, that's...
But they do like the money.
They do like the money, but they also love the old status quo. They love to, like, go, oh, this is something you haven't seen before, but don't worry, it'll be right back where it was before.
Right. And now, with this, even though that would happen, or that may happen, and typically I'm not like, super interested in how they're going to get there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more interested in this journey a little bit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a strong book. It's just, like, I'm more or less like, what are you doing with this?
Yeah.
And if that interested you at all, then
you should definitely check it out.
all right, like, but at least for me, I might do issue 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way it ended, I was kind of like, we're going down, like, this darker, like, not darker place for Deadpool, but that was, like...
It was darker than...
It was humorless.
Darker than the tone that the book had been trying to strike throughout.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially when it started off.
Yes, yeah. It started here and then was dark. And it definitely shifted tones. I guess to kind of give you an idea, because Jerry Dugan is one of the definitive Deadpool authors, and so, like, he's definitely familiar with the character and not afraid to change it up or try new things or familiarize you with, like, what you know about to be true with Deadpool. So,
Which is cool.
So, like, you know that he's not just doing it for the hell of it. Like,
No.
he's got a point.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, cool. That said, meh, but...
There was also a nod to Mrs. Deadpool.
Yes. Which is fun.
I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This ain't for kids.
You know what's funny? It's one of those books that's just like, I just read it and I didn't even consider both worlds. I just kind of like went through it. But I thought the art was consistent. I thought it did a nice job, but it didn't blow my mind.
I thought there was nothing new about it. This
Yeah.
felt like an old book.
Yeah.
Or an old, like, Deadpool story, where nothing really changed.
It literally could have come out 10 years ago or like a week ago.
I felt a little more fluid than I'd say 10 years ago, but I still liked it. Like,
Yeah.
there were certainly, like, moments in, like, fights and stuff like that I was like, that's cool, that's fun, you know, like, it's the art's good, like,
The art's
fine.
good. Yeah, no, but there's no moment where I went, oh, but this panel you gotta check out.
And I do like the different...
the one with the explosion and him and the other Deadpool kissing. What is it, White Fox?
Okay, yeah, that was a fun sequence. The art...
but I like that one panel. Where
That's
it's like,
fair.
Kavoosh.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was
fun.
And I do like the different characters that were being Deadpools.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yeah, they look cool, and they're fun. And
I gotta
who
say,
knows?
the artist does a pretty good job, though, of, like...
Of balancing them?
But also, like, in order to do a Deadpool book, you not only have to be able to do action sequences, but you do have to be able to punctuate humor.
Yes.
Like, the humor can't just lie in the words. It often has to lie in the art itself.
That's
and
true.
I feel like he did a pretty good job with that. Not that this was, like, super funny, haha, book, but there were moments, and he certainly did punctuate it.
Well, comparatively to, like, Deadpool versus Thanos, this is better.
Oh my gosh.
But with writing and with art. And
Yes.
I think that, you know what, it could be deceptively good, that kind of thing where you just take it for granted, but it serviced the story without me having to really think about it. And so the points of humor, the points of seriousness, they were all hit on the right notes, and I didn't think at any point, like, oh, that doesn't work.
And a funny thing that made me chuckle was during the bar mitzvah, or bat mitzvah, I think it was bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Is that the two Deadpools that are up front are wearing MC Hammer pants?
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
that too.
And I was like, what? And I chuckled. And that was an excellent choice for the art.
Yes.
Can I, and this is going back, I guess, to the writing, can I tell you how, okay, you remember the whole, like, Clerks cartoon show, like, you come back to the joke over and over again? That George Stephanopoulos thing made me laugh a lot by the end.
That's funny.
Like, especially right at the end.
Yes.
I was like...
Yeah, it was getting to that point. It was pulling a Mandel where it's like, if you tell a joke one time, that's okay, but 5 times, genius. And for me, I think it was for me it was one Stephanopoulos too few to make it land.
No, for me,
but I'm glad it worked for some of you. Anyway, pick up both books in the description box down below. You can get them digitally, or you can go to your friendly local comic book store and give them some money because they should probably use it by now. And we will be here, of course, as always, on Off the Rack all week. This great stuff you can check out on ComicPOP. And hey, we've got a Patreon page if you want to see this stuff, get better and whatever we could do with the money. I think there's some goals in there you could probably look at.
Yeah, check them out.
If they work for you, hell, why not? There's a card that you can click on that'll take you right there. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time with an all-new episode of Off the Rack. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Keep on reading. It would just be... The problem is you have 2 different people who are like, I'm a badass. No, I'm a badass. Oh, I am. And
that's funny.
Yeah,
right,
but they're
fair.
both under orders. Like, they're both being constricted to, like, all right, you have to watch yourself.
Yeah.
You rein it in.
Right, that's true. Yeah, you're on a timetable. You're working for the president. Well, I'm gonna die from drugs.
What if they could both be in, like, a space prison?
Yes. And
Oh my god, they break out?
Yeah, like, they're
Cool.
cellmates.
Escape from space prison, Lobo?
Oh my god, and they're, like, attached to each other. They can't get too far away from each other or they'll, like, explode or something.
Right. Yeah.
It writes itself,
It really
people!
does.